Welcome to Lesson 1. Now more than ever, brands are trying to figure out ways to stand out. This is where personal video comes in. Here's an example of how it works. When a new lead opts in, your sales rep gets a notification on their phone to record them a quick welcome. The rep just clicks and records, and then boom, a waving video thumbnail lands in the prospect's inbox, and when they click on that thumbnail, it leads to a branded landing page where the video plays. It is used in sales, customer onboarding, customer support, and indirectly by marketing, as people share and talk about the amazing welcome experience they got from insert your brand. Iconic marketer Seth Godin expounds on why video is so impactful in his book Purple Cow. He talks about how if you're driving down the street, you see a cow, you wouldn't think much of it. But if you're driving down the street and you saw a bright purple cow, you would stop and stare. You might pull over and take a picture. You might share it on Facebook with the header, "No joke, just drove by and saw this near Greenwich." You might text the picture to your spouse or friends or kids. The point is, the purple cow is a pattern interrupt. It breaks the monotony and standard expectation of an individual, and it becomes immediately memorable. This is the beauty of personal video. It's wholly different, unique, and memorable. I was watching a TED Talk, and the speaker talked about an experiment that was run. One group was told to remember an individual whose name was Baker, and another group was told to remember someone whose profession was a baker. The profession group had substantially higher recall when asked a day later. Why? Because the baker has context. You can imagine the smells of a bakery, those tall white hats, the rising dough. The context makes it more memorable than just a name, which has no inherent context. The same principle applies to personal video. You get more opens and more engagement because the individual has those context points. There's facial expression, tone, body language. In fact, there's actual biology happening around this. Mirror neurons exist in the brain to emulate the emotions we see in others, i.e., if you're at a sporting event and you see everyone around you excited and energized, you're more likely to feel those same emotions yourself. This principle applies to one of the inherent reasons that personal video is so impactful. Seeing a real human talking to you about a product, showing excitement, having that sense of their facial expressions, it creates a more emotional experience. When a customer or prospect sees that you view them as more than a number and have a genuine interest in getting to know them or supporting them, that is where the magic happens. Here are some of the recent studies that have been conducted around personal video and its impact. 80% of respondents said that they were more likely to do business with a company that makes interactions personalized. Adidas employed personal video at a race, and the results were as follows. The email open rate for the videos was 113% above baseline, and click-throughs to the Adidas website led to an 11x increase in apparel sales. Open and engagement rates for personal video versus standard email saw a 25 to 60% lift. According to Harvard Business Review, in one study with insurance activations, the results were as followed. In the control group, which didn't receive any digital contact, 1.3% of people activated their account. With a standard text email, the number increases to 4.3%. However, the personalized videos doubled the activation rate, with 8.2% signing into their retirement accounts. Now, before we move into our next lesson about building superfans, I want to take a moment to address potential concerns that you might have around personal video. I could never use personal video because I don't feel comfortable getting in front of a camera. This is way too much work. With the widespread adoption of Zoom, hopefully more and more of us are getting comfortable being behind a camera. Still, it's understandable that a lot of people are worried about how they present when they get behind a screen. Our first intuitive response when it comes to video is to imagine this in a social context, thinking about how we tailor and edit pictures, how we doll up for a Facebook Live, or get dressed to the nines for a date. But it's critical to remember that we're talking about video from a business vantage point. From a business vantage point, it's all about building trust, and trust is actually built through familiarity. In fact, we're far more likely to trust a business that delivers an imperfect video with a person that feels authentic than we are by some performance that seems staged. So remember that this is about being yourself, and we can all do that. It doesn't take an ounce of effort. This seems great, but honestly more of a nice to have than a business critical tool. we have bigger priorities right now. Personal video, for most businesses, is likely not their make or break, but that is also not what we claim to be. Personal video claims to get you a massive improvement in conversions, engagement, customer fans, and reviews. The impact of these will have a downstream impact on your bottom line and thus the overall health, growth, and trajectory of your business. If you can employ a tool that is easy to use, produces massive ROI, and does so with a low barrier of entry, most businesses are on board for that. We'll work in this course to convince you about the value of personal video and creating superfans. I just don't have the time to record that many individual videos. One of the beauties of using a tool like Bonjoro for personal video is you get the notification that a new trial or customer signed up, and right there in real time, you can quickly shoot out a video with context from your phone wherever you're at. It's the only task-based personal video tool on the market. Recording a personal video is almost always faster than writing an email. It's also important to look at how you're spending your time overall. Remember that getting the prospect in the door is only the first step in the relationship. How you treat them after they become a customer will define how people view you as a brand. I would argue that investing a few minutes to build a strong relationship with a new customer will be one of the best ROI initiatives that you can test. In this lesson, you learned what personal video is and why it can be so impactful for your business. In this next section, we're gonna get more into this concept of what a superfan is, why it's valuable to you, and how it's connected back to personal video. Hopefully, lesson 1 gave you a good, robust sense of what personal video is and how it might help you. Before we move into lesson 2, I want you to take a step back and think about the brands in your life that are most impactful on you. Now, it might be a big brand like Apple, you always have Apple product, or maybe it's a local nearby coffee shop that you and your friends always go to. But think about those brands and think about what makes those experiences with those brands memorable for you. Take a step back, think about positive brand experiences, negative brand experiences, and start brainstorming what makes you a customer advocate in your personal life.